Welcome to the Imperium Forex daily video. Before we begin, it should be noted that any advice is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Hello everyone, my name is Rob Clayton and thank you very much for joining me for the Imperium Forex. This is just a brief tutorial just to start you off in setting up the MT4. Now as you can see at the moment, my setup is a white background with black bull candle and a red bear candle. So to set up a chart, first of all, we need to go to File, New, and we will use the Australian dollar against the US dollar. So you can see it comes in with a black background and a green bar chart. Now to change this, all you need to do is right click and then go to Properties, and then you'll see in colors that you have a column. Change that column, so the first one, background to white, the foreground to black, the grid to a lighter color, I use lavender. So the bar for the up is black, the bar for the down is red, the bull candle being black and the bear candle being red. And then we have the line graph, which will be black, and volume also black. And then when we say OK, and then we change it, so you've got a bar chart, a candle chart and a line. So we use the candle, and then you have the zoom in and zoom out. So we zoom in and there you have it. Very, very clear and precise. Now let's set up a few indicators. I already have a few set up with MACD, stochastic and ADX, but you can choose a variety of indicators, and I will show you how to do this. First of all, you go Insert, Indicator, and you have a range of indicators that go from trend, with a moving average, Bollinger Bands, and then we have an oscillator, which is a stochastic, or we can go to an RSI, a MACD, momentum. But this time I shall choose a stochastic. Choosing the period that you feel comfortable with, that you like to use for trading, and then you just go OK, and the indicator will come up straight away. To change the color of these indicators, you just right click on it and go to Properties, and you go to Colors, and you can change that as well. Let's add another indicator. So we go Insert, Indicator, and this time I might use an RSI, which is a relative strength index. This deviates to a 14 period, and then we just darken this color style to a deeper blue and go OK, and there's your RSI. If you feel the line is a little bit too thin, just right click, go Properties, and then go to this drop down box and just go to the second line, and it will thicken up. Placing the trade can be done very simply. You have a drop down menu here, choosing the volume that you desire, which could be less than one lot or higher than one lot, and you can place that quite simply by typing it in. And then once you've done that, you can just go select to sell or buy, and it will execute the order straight away. The other way of placing an order is by going New Order, and you can choose the volume, in type, change that to pending, and then you can go into the pending order, whether it's a buy or sell, and then you put the price in that you wish to sell the market at or buy it, and then don't forget to put your stop loss and take profit, and then put place. And that's very much how to place an order. So let's take a look at some of the markets that are in the Imperium Forex intraday report. Beginning with the Australian dollar, you can see that since the market found a base around 71.80 back in December, this strong uptrend is now finding a top around this 77 cent region. And clearly, if I close this in from the toolbar that you can see that is above, if we go to zoom out, you can see that the market towards this level of 77 cents has failed over many times. If we put a horizontal line, you can see that from the 77 point, you could count over a period of 6 months at least that the market's failed towards that top side of 77 cents. And I do expect to see this happen again for a couple of reasons. And for one, is that at the moment we have bearish divergence. Now what bearish divergence is when the market is rising and you get your first peak, you get the second peak, and then you get the third peak. So you get rising highs as well as rising lows. But look at the indicator on the stochastic, it's actually declining. And you can easily draw from this toolbar a trend line. So you can see the market began back at around 76 cents, and then from that high, ever since the market's been rising on 4 occasions, is that we have a declining indicator, as well as the histogram falling away through the zero now does give further emphasis of a potential sell-off in the Australian dollar. The immediate support comes in at 76.45, and then beneath there is a key level which I shall highlight, which comes in at 75.9505. A break beneath there would give further exposure to the downside and give another objective of 74.85, which is what I'm calling at the moment. And you can see here from the peaks and the troughs is that the market has found some kind of support resistance from that 74.80 level. Looking towards the upside, if we go in a shorter time frame and use the 4 hour, you can see that the market is clearly struggling now, and I do expect to see any advances towards 77 cents to fail, with a cap seen around 40. Moving on to the euro against the US dollar, if we look at the 4 hour time frame, you can see overnight that the market is now struggling towards that 106 region. When we look at the daily time frame, you can see that over the period of 6 months, the market's been in a heavy downtrend since 113, and then since finding a near 14-year low around 103.4065, the market has staged quite a considerable rally back to 108.2050 before losing momentum again and now holding to a negative bias. So moving back to the 4 hour time frame, it is viewed that fresh attempts up towards 106 should fail, and with the resistance holding in at 106.5560, I expect to see further weakness into the European session and look towards a move of 105.45 and lower. And if we take out the support, which comes in at 104.5570, then this would actually see further weakness for the euro. And if we go to the daily, it could see a move back to these near 14-year lows around that 103, as I mentioned, 40.65. The price action for dollar yen has been very, very difficult. In terms of the uptrend that we saw when Donald Trump got in, since 101, the market has peaked at 118.60 area, and now since then the market is actually now struggling to find any momentum. And what is concerning is at the moment we have taken out the support of 112.50. Now let's move on to a shorter time frame. You can see here that although that we have broken beneath that 112.50 handle, the market, like previously in early February, momentum was found just under 112, the figure, and staged the rally all the way back up towards nearly claiming that 115 highs. What is concerning now is that the market failed to continue on from the challenge of 112.80 today, and now looking back towards the support, which is at 112.45. A break beneath there would give further exposure to the downside and could actually see a fall, if we look at the dailies, to a potential target that comes in around 110.6080, which is where the market refound demand back in November and rallied on to 118. Overall, I'm not extremely bearish on dollar yen because the indicators are actually quite flat on the MACD and not too far away from being oversold. We could see a sharp snap to the upside, which is what I'm favouring, and could be seen in the next 24 hours to 113.6070 to 114.35 and reassess from there. If we don't see demand in the next 12 to 24 hours, then we could eventually see the market fall back to that challenge of 110.60.80, but I'm not bearish from that level. Looking at sterling, well, as you can see, if we zoom in, is that the support of 123.80 is clearly holding very, very well at the moment. Over a period of about 6 weeks now, the market seems to be finding good support there. However, look at the indicators. At the moment, we're under zero. We've got a negative crossover from the stochastic, and a break of 123.80 would give further emphasis to the downside, and I'll be looking for a target of 121.40.80 and reassess from there. Fresh advances on the top side. If we go to the 4 hour, you can see that the market clearly has failed around that 125 handle. So I am looking for resistance around 124.80 to 125.50.70. The gold story, well, since the firm bullish trend that came back in late December around that 11.30 support, there has been pretty much little pullback. And as you can see now, the market seems to have found a short-term cap around 12.62. If we just draw that in there, you can see it got to a high last night of 12.63. If this pattern continues, now I am supportive of a bearish forecast for gold, and if we see a move through 48, that is 1,248, then I expect to see further weakness for gold and look for a price action down to 1,238, reassess from there. That is this point. So we zoom in, it gives you a bit more of a clearer picture. So you can see here a very, very much a negative picture that came through last night from the rejection of 63, and I am fully supportive of this move down. So let's see if the market can get to 38 in the next 12 hours, and if it does go through 1,238, the next target comes in is around 1,220. Yes, a very, very bearish call if it breaks that level, 38. Fresh advances to the top side still see a resistance around 1,262 to 1,264. And to wrap up with silver, pretty much like gold, the market has been in a very firm uptrend since around $15.80. At the moment, I do expect to see resistance come in soon around the area of $18.38, but more precisely around $18.60. And as you can see here, if we put a horizontal line, that towards $18.60 we have troughs, and also we have very much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stabs before collapsing. So yes, the market is getting to the end of its run here, I believe. The trend is overheating. As you can see here from the ADX, it's getting back to that high 51 level. Little momentum in the MACD, well, literally zero momentum in the MACD. So from the histogram, so I am looking for a further fall eventually once it takes out the $18.15. And my objective for silver will be down towards $17.80. Not a big call, but enough to get the market on, giving market bulls the jitter. And if we go through that 17.80, then we could be looking at a further fall where these troughs and peaks are, which comes in around $17.15, and reassess from there. So that concludes my daily video. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day ahead.